Hey, sister.
Hey, sister.
Join me, Courtney Lewis,
And me, Carley Ferguson,
in our conversational podcast about everyday situations.
You can count on us to tell it to you straight with our own sisterly spin.
Consider this a phone call with your own Southern sisters as we discuss with you personal accountability, healthy relationships, managing responsibilities, and contributing to society.
Each episode will consist of straight talk and a call to action.
Your sisters are calling.
Thanks for answering.
Welcome to Hey Sister. This is episode 30, Meme Girls. Welcome to another week in our motherhood series this month. Sisters, if you don't recognize my voice this week, this is still Courtney, but I'm a little hoarse from a fun-filled week at Disneyland. Remember when we had our Vacation Ready series last month and we learned lots of tips and tricks for navigating Disneyland in episode 27, Bippity Boppity Book It? Well, I applied all those pieces of advice during our vacation, plus other insights that we received during the month of April. So I definitely made sure to wear a fanny pack, like we talked about in episode 24, about what things to pack when we go on vacation. And I made sure that I communicated in a calm yet semi-firm way with our Airbnb host when we were missing the street parking ticket that was supposed to be included with our Airbnb because parking is crazy in California. And we talked about how to communicate with your Airbnb host in episode 25 last month. And lastly, I definitely made sure to let the fun mom come alive, like we talked about in episode 26, when I realized that I forgot my matching t-shirt that I'd specifically bought for my whole family, and mom's was the one that was left behind. So all of those episodes definitely came in clutch because I felt like I was prepared for my family vacation from having done this full month with all the wonderful guest experts that we had on who prepared me for this family vacation. So I just felt like I'd been coached by incredible guest hosts the whole month prior to our trip. I was so prepared. And funny side note, it was actually my husband that quoted back to me at one point when I was so sad and disappointed about my shirt. He said, "Something won't go according to plan," according to Madeline Becker Hamilton. So my husband used my own podcast against me, but I was grateful for that. So if you have an upcoming vacation, we recommend checking out those episodes, which are all going to be linked in the show notes today, along with any other reference links. You'll hear us discuss our social media accounts, and our show minute marker timeline. Now, speaking of incredible guest hosts, Carley, please take it away so that my gravelly voice doesn't scare off our sisterhood today.
I think it's a great souvenir from Disney, really.
It was free. It was a free souvenir.
I know. As you heard, today's title is Meme Girls, but we're not going to be talking about the movie from our preteen or teenage years with Lindsay Lohan. Today, we're so excited to have a discussion about the importance of laughter throughout our motherhood journey with Rachel Homolak, the founder and administrator of the Bluey Memes Facebook group. Courtney and I are recent discoverers of the popular TV show for kids, Bluey, although Courtney has joked it's not a kids show, but a parenting show she lets her kids watch.
Yep.
I think that sounds pretty accurate. The show itself is filled with fantastic humor for both child and adult. And in fact, adults find it so witty that they continue conversations about their favorite humorous clips online in Rachel's private Bluey Memes Facebook group, which serves as a humor-based uniting force in this world that sometimes feels a little too heavy. Am I right?
Yes.
We're grateful Rachel created this group, and we're honored to have her with us today. Rachel, welcome to Hey Sister.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here.
We're so happy to have you.
Yay.
Rachel, could you just tell us a little bit about yourself and your family and the meme group that you created?
Of course. I have a son, a 3-year-old son, and I'm married to my wonderful husband, Dave, and we just adopted a little girl, and it's going to be finalized this fall. So we're really excited about that.
Wonderful.
I'm mostly a stay-at-home mom, but my profession before becoming mommy was I am a theater and music teacher and piano teacher. So very involved in the arts, and especially being a teacher and a mom, you've got to really find those places to laugh at situations, laugh at yourself, laugh at everything, because how else do we get through? Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's just a little bit about me. I wish my life was a little bit more exciting than that, but this is probably the most excitement I've had in my life. for a while being on this podcast. So there you go.
Well, you're going to make this podcast more exciting. I just love the energy you're already bringing here. And you bring so much energy to this Bluey Memes group. Ever since my hairdresser turned me on to Bluey Memes, which, by the way, I say hairdresser like it's something I do regularly. I have had my hair cut once in 2 years. Anyway, so my hairdresser told me about this Bluey Memes group, and I have just loved joining it. And I have been laughing so hard. So I'm wondering, how in the world did you start a Bluey Memes group?
I did not mean for this to happen at all. It was just one of those things. We actually we're late to the party. Our family is super late to the party. We just discovered Bluey late last summer. And as soon as we were introduced to it, we were like, wow, this is the best thing ever. And I almost became obsessed with it a little bit, to the point where like I was contacting friends in Australia and they were buying me merchandise and like all this stuff. I had like a Bluey dealer. And anyway, I went on Facebook just to go see if they had a meme group, because everything else has a meme group, whether it's Encanto or NASCAR. I mean, everything has a meme group. And I noticed that there wasn't one. And I was like, well, I'm going to start one, because I had a bunch of memes that I'd found, and I usually text them to my husband when he's at work and we laugh. And so I like had this collection from text to my husband. And I was just like, well, I'm going to start a group. And I invited some local moms or people that I've known that I thought would appreciate it, because I did work for Disney. I worked at Disney World. So I do have a lot of Disney friends that really appreciate Bluey as well, even if they don't have kids. And so it started off just really slow. It was like 100 people or something. And something happened right before Christmas. I don't know what happened, to be honest with you. And it got visibility and it didn't stop from there. So basically in 5 months, my group has exploded to over, I think right now the count is at about 104,500.
Holy moly.
I did not plan that. That was not something that was a goal of starting Bluey Memes.
It blueyed your mind.
It blueyed your mind.
It just happened. And I am the only admin, because it's easier that way, because I know which memes have been posted, because we don't want a bunch of duplicates. People are so great in the group. I love them. They're always very supportive and they offered help. But I was just like, I think I've got this. And I've figured out how to navigate everything. And it's been a whirlwind, but it's been super fun. And thankfully, I don't get a lot of drama in that group. A lot of people think like, oh, you're only admin. It's not really that bad, to be honest with you, because my rules are pretty straightforward. And I also control who posts things and what's approved. So it's not like a feral group that just anybody can post anything. And this, I do have it kind of locked down pretty well. But because I'm able to do that, that's how I've been able to manage it.
Well, you'd hope that people who are joining understand the humor of children and like family centered. It would be pretty tame, you'd hope.
Exactly. My audience is not an audience I'm super concerned with crazy content.
Well, I love the content because it definitely makes me laugh. But I do want to just ask you right off the bat, why is laughter so important? What is it about laughter that made you want to start this group, that makes you want to send memes to your husband? Why do you think laughter is so important in our world?
It's how we survive, to be honest with you. It really is. Not going to lie. It's tough. This world is tough and it's very challenging. And especially lately, it's just been really heartbreaking, discouraging, a lot of fear of the unknown. And especially, I'm a parent of young kids. And so I'm still new to this, but as soon as I became a mom, man, it's so easy to just get frustrated in the world that we live in, no matter where you are and where you stand. It's great for everybody to just take a time out and just be like, I'm going to laugh, because if we don't have that laughter in our lives, then what's the point? I mean, obviously, psychologically, studies have been shown laughter, it produces those endorphins and serotonin in our brains and everything. So we have a chemical type of response when we laugh and when we see visual stimuli or hear jokes and things like that. And so, I mean, honestly, it helps our bodies and it helps our spirits. So I think that's why it's vital to our survival, and especially as parents, because again, you just have to laugh. Most of the time, you just have to sit there and keep on keeping on, but you might as well laugh while you're doing it.
Totally. I think one of the things for me is having little kids myself, you're trying to control so many things that are uncontrollable.
Mm-hmm.
They have their own prerogative. It is not something that you could, by will, make something happen. And most of the time it goes awry. And that's where humor comes in, because if you're not able to laugh it off, then you might cry. You might be like, no, oh no, things are are going terribly, but you're like, okay, this is pretty funny. It's going to be short-lived. You're able to find the humor in the situation, which is so good. And I feel like recently it's been a time since the quarantine shutdown and the pandemic. There's a lot of heavy things going on. Mm-hmm. And during that time, I felt like there were these memes and the side of things, in addition to hard information to have to swallow. But there were these like sugar moments where you'd see banding together these moms or people who were like having to go through this situation together and putting memes out. Because memes are the easiest way to have an inside joke, I feel like.
It is a quick fix.
Yeah, it is. It's an inside joke. And yeah, you can share it and have someone else be in on that inside joke, which is what everyone wants, is that friend with an inside joke. And the fact that we can create that miles and worlds apart from each other, it's such a blessing.
I mean, I think the art of the meme is genius in itself because everybody's busy. Everybody has something going on. And it's just such a quick way to get that serotonin release, to lighten your mood. And that's what memes do. You don't have to listen to like, a 30-minute comedy sketch. It's just instant. You look at it, haha, that's hilarious. And like you said, you share it, and it just builds that camaraderie. And it's just really nice. I love the fact that memes are a thing. I remember when the first memes came out, like the first templates of memes and everything. It's so funny. I look back at where we're at now with memes, and it's just so cool to see the progression that's happened. And people are so witty and creative. It is insane to me what content people post. I'm like, how in the world did you think of that? Or that's the coolest crossover or whatnot. That's why I think memes are super important, because they are able to give us that kind of quick fix that I think we need day to day and everything. Our lives have changed. People's culture has changed. And in a time of this instant gratification and everything, well, there you go. Have a meme.
I want to say, speaking of memes and how far they've come, the first time I remember seeing a meme was in 2013. I was working in marketing at the time for a home builder, and I was trying to research cutting edge ways to do some marketing for this home builder because they're homes. Like there's really not too many creative things you can do. You want to show the floor plan, sell the home. But I was researching, and one of the top trends for advertising at that point and for marketing at that time were using memes that involved cats. And I remember I tried to talk to the home builder. I put this presentation together. We need to come up with ways to incorporate cats into the homes and make memes. And that home builder looked at me like he thought I was crazy. And I was like, never mind. I actually hate this idea. Even as it's coming out of my mouth, I hate this idea. So we never did it. But I remember being like, I don't know what a meme is. I never made a meme.
You could have had Grumpy Cat.
Yeah, totally.
Don't forget Grumpy Cat.
Exactly.
Let's bring Grumpy Cat back.
Right?
The OG meme,
Exactly. Anyway, I do love how far they've come. And I love that you don't have to be a marketing person to create a meme. Anybody can create a meme on their phone. And I love that it is that quick fix inside joke, but they also can be deep. Mm-hmm. And that's one thing I found within your group, Rachel, is that people will post a meme and it has a reference to another movie, or the person that's the voice for this character in Bluey is also the voice for this character in this movie. And there's a quote that overlaps or something that's mind-blowing to me. And I'm like, I don't know that movie. And I feel so unintelligent. I need to go research it now. And then I find myself wasting time because I want to get this inside joke. But anyway, I love it because it can be a quick fix, but it can also be like, ooh, this is like a test.
It's educational.
It is educational.
It's like pop culture references. And
yes,
exactly.
So Rachel, how can this laughter deepen the relationships? We're talking about how we find it to be so funny ourselves, but how have you found that sharing these memes or having this group has deepened motherhood or friendships?
First of all, I think we need to give a lot of the credit to Bluey, the show itself, because we honestly wouldn't have the content that we have with these memes if it weren't for the brilliant nature of the show itself. And so I think that's where we start talking about honesty and like genuinity and everything. When I watch Bluey, I mean, I feel so seen. For instance, Bluey and Bingo are in the backseat of the car and it's a complete mess. There's food everywhere. There's stickers. And I'm like raising my hand, that's me. So I think it starts there. And I think because the writers and animators were so genuine to begin with and so honest, it made these memes basically just make themselves. It's genius. So I really can't take credit. I mean, I make some memes, original content. Obviously, I do pull from other things. But it's honestly the show itself, I think, that really did it. And because it's so relatable, that's when it becomes personal. And I think that's the difference between my group and Bluey Memes on Facebook, is that it just becomes personal. And there's so many people around the world in all sorts of different cultures that are like, hey, that's me too. And so it's not just being seen in the United States. It's like everybody coming together. All these moms and dads are like, whoa, I'm not alone. And I think that's what's neat also about the setup with Facebook, is that people can comment, like you mentioned earlier, and how people make connections and they're able to kind of create that community, even if it's just a little subject or just something that is relatable or that someone has in common. It's really neat that they're able to just relate to themselves and pulled together. And I just really think that it's such a power to be able to do that. And so I absolutely love seeing the different things that come up or conversations. Actually, like as of right now, at this second, I had somebody try to post something. They're making these little backpacks and they are adorable. And I want one. And so we made a meme. I talked to the gal and said, well, I don't usually allow selling in my group, but I think now we're going to start doing that. We're going to like once a month start featuring that. And so my group does adapt to certain things. And lo and behold, here's this gal who's just making some backpacks. And last I talked to her, so she needed 150 to be able to do her commission to have them fabricated. And in like 6 hours, she basically has met her quota because she posted it in my group. Yeah.
Wow.
Because it had such an outreach, worldwide. And so she's just on cloud nine because she's like, wow, this is awesome. But then it was funny. Actually, somebody kind of made a snarky little comment about, well, if she gets to, then maybe we should make this a weekly or monthly thing. And I was like, that sounds awesome. Let's do that. And so it's amazing how many other things can stem from other people's ideas or other people's dilemmas as well through a meme group. And so the connection is just so cool and so outrageous. And it just blows my mind.
I love that it's easier to strike up a conversation because you're having already that mutual love of Bluey. And so you feel like you can comment back to somebody else. And it's just like this genuine friendship. If we could talk to somebody like that at the grocery store, like already know ahead of time something we both like, it would make it so much less awkward, right?
Exactly. It removes the outer onion layer or something automatically so that we can just go into making connections and friendships. So it's beautiful.
Yeah. And it makes me feel like that's what we should do, is be realistic with how we showcase ourselves. It's okay that our car is messy. The other day I was at an event and somebody was helping bring stuff to the car, and she was helping me bring my things out. And she said, yeah, well, I put the stuff in your car and the alarm started going off. I'm like, oh, really? I didn't even hear it. We start walking out. She goes, yeah, your car was to the right. Right. And I was like, nope, mine was to the left. And she was like,
oh no.
Oh, 1 moment. So she runs over. And sure enough, it's another gal. And it was her minivan. And she goes, oh, well, my car is probably a lot dirtier. And I'm like, actually, before I could even say it, the other lady goes, nope, yours is about the same. I'm like, yeah, we're all in this boat together.
That's so funny.
That's right. Absolutely.
Well, like Carley said, I do see Bluey as the parenting show I let my kids watch. And I feel like it's deepened my relationship with my kids and helped me inspire them, or actually it's even inspired them for how to do more creative play, which I feel like then I'm able to jump in and be a better mother to my kids, because my kids will take on these roles where they'll pretend to be the same people that Bluey and Bingo pretend to be. My two girls, especially, they'll like to pretend. And it's adorable. And I'll kind of go along with it because I feel like Bandit and Chili, they taught me how to do this. I can play too. And so I'll follow along. So I feel like it's deepened the motherhood relationship. But Rachel, one thing I love is that you've talked specifically before about a situation that happened that was a domino effect, where it created, like you're talking about, this vibe across the nations, across the internet, where one thing can stem the action of another. And so it can create those friendships. And I'm wondering if you would share that story that you said happened where somebody posted a meme and then that meme continued to grow and get comments. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, it was really, really neat. Yeah, I started with a meme. It was a crossover meme with Encanto, because everybody is talking about that right now, but you don't talk about Bruno.
No.
But that's exactly what it was. It was, we don't talk about Judo, because Judo is the character that is kind of hated. She's kind of a brat and kind of high maintenance, but because she made the reference to the song, is in the comments, people started posting their own lyrics that were Bluey related. At first it was like, this is really cute. And then somebody else contacted the person who posted the meme and was like, hey, can I take these responses and make a song out of it? And she was like, absolutely. Like, this is so cool. So the two of them collaborated. They basically created their entire song. I mean, if you've heard We Don't Talk About Bruno, that's a long song. It's not like it's a short little ditty. It's pretty intense. I mean, it's Lin-Manuel Miranda, so it's going to have that up-tempo kind of beat. And it's also going to be very wordy because that's just his style. They did that. And then on top of that, they had another gal who actually sang the song because they wanted somebody who could actually sing and everything. And then someone else added effects and added lyrics. And it just became this conglomeration of all these different efforts from people from all over the world to make this We Don't Talk About Judo parody that was created just in my group. I mean, it was insane what had happened. And it was weird because I didn't even realize what was going on, because when somebody posts something, I don't get notifications for it. Now, if it's something I post, I can get notifications if I turn those notifications on. So I had no clue that this was happening until it showed up. And I was like, oh, this is really neat. And then I've actually become friends with this gal that's part of the group, and she's fantastic. And I mean, thank goodness she posted a meme. That's all she did. And it just snowballed into this really cool product that is just unique to our group. And so you can find that on YouTube now. And it's just stunning how people can come together and create even without seeing each other or being present. This was all just through the internet. And it just blows my mind how people can do that. And so I was just super impressed.
That's awesome. I feel like too, as a music teacher, there's probably a part of you that was, your heart was like, oh, so proud, you know?
I was so proud.
Yeah.
The first time I watched it, because again, I watch everything to make sure that nobody tries to sneak anything in. So I watched the entire thing and I was listening to it, and my husband was in the other room and he was just like, what is that? And I'm like, somebody made a Bluey parody. And he's like, that's actually really awesome. That's hilarious. I'm like, I know. So yeah, it was such a nice treat to have.
Definitely something that you would think back on and just smile randomly wherever you are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We don't talk about Judo. No. Yeah. I'm always singing it and everything.
We're all over here dancing.
I love it. Well, I also loved it because I feel like I'm obsessed with the show, and then I join your group and I'm like, oh, no, there's people that are like way obsessed. I thought I loved the show, but I don't know the individual characters' names. All the friends of Bluey and Bingo, I don't know their names. And so when you see somebody say something like, we don't talk about Judo, I'm like, which one's Judo? And then I'm like, oh yeah, I do remember that episode where she was a huge brat and didn't want to play with Bingo. I'm like remembering, oh yeah, I remember that. I remember I didn't like her. Ooh, now I see why. It's funny because I feel like suddenly I'm in the know a little bit more. It was totally normal that I felt that way. And apparently other people feel that way too. And then the fact that there's a parody, I mean, it really is just incredible. And I love how creative people are in your group. And I also love the courage that it takes to A, create a meme, and B, take it one step further. It takes guts even in this world to comment on things. Sometimes people have fear of committing and they don't want to post anything. They don't want to comment anything. But I think being in a private group kind of takes a little bit of that pressure off, because you know that it's friends. And even if you create content that's not perfect and you just want to do it because it's the love for the show Bluey or the love for whatever group you're a part of. But I do love that there is that sense of comfort. It's a comfort zone.
It is. Absolutely. It's a safe place for us all to be able to be ourselves in that environment and all laugh together. I find that there's not a lot of judgment. There's always going to be a few things here and there. Some people may be offended by certain things, and that's fine. We're all human, and I'm okay with that. That's not something that bothers me, but it's been a roller coaster, to be honest with you. But I've also learned so much in this process. Everybody thinks that I'm like this master meme maker or something, and I'm like, no. Like you said, you didn't know any of the characters. I'm the same. I've actually not seen season 3 yet. So I get a lot of memes that I'm like, I don't know what this is referencing. And so I have to message the person and just double check. What did you mean by this? Oh, it's in season 3. Okay. So, it still has its challenges, but yeah, I'm kind of with you. It took me a while to learn the characters and everything. And having the meme group, it forced me to be able to make sure I knew everything. So, I mean, at this point, I think I know exactly what season 3 is like, just because of all the memes that have been posted.
The spoiler alerts there, I guess.
Right.
I feel like it's so inspiring to be a part of a group or just have the opportunity to geek out about something, to be obsessed about something, and even something that is something our kids watch. But it's more about finding that humor, the wit, the comedy in life and how it relates to us right now. And really being a mom is a dramedy. It's like,
it is
right in between drama and comedy. Just there it is. It's nice, especially as moms, because there are times where you feel a little lost in motherhood, and that's okay. In some aspects, you can find these pieces that are funny with other moms, and it just becomes a bridge to connect to them. I love that we can let down our guards, not feel like we need to pretend to be something we're not, just be right in motherhood where we're at and meet each other there, even over Facebook. This is inspiring because you could have said, oh, I guess there's not a memes group for this, but for 104,500 people, they found each other now.
Yes.
Because you made that call to say, let's go for it. I'm not an expert. Let's just grow together. And people are putting their talents to use and making other people's day. I just love it all. That's so awesome.
I do too. It's very rewarding. I know it's getting more difficult the more and more members that join. But I've been asked, are you going to archive the group, which is a choice I could do. So people that are in, they could still be in, but there's no more commenting. And so I don't know. I've been tempted, but then I'm like, no, I just have such a love for it. And I love the connection so much that I don't think I ever will.
Well, speaking of this group, how can our sisters find this group, Rachel?
You just head over to Facebook, go into the search bar and just put Bluey Memes. Boom, you will find it. I do have a little blue heart emoji at the end of it. So if there are other Bluey meme groups, which I feel if there are several Bluey meme groups, I say bring it. Mine doesn't have to be the only one, but mine is the one with the blue heart at the end. And you'll notice that, yes, it'll show you how many members are in there. So you'll know that mine is the one with over 100,000 people in it.
That's awesome.
And it's a private group that they have to request to join, right? And you'll accept people?
It is private. I keep it private just because there's definitely some issues and stuff with social media, and I want people to feel safe. So it is private. And I do tell people, because I do get requests like, oh, you should make this public so I can share things on my page. And I said, you absolutely can. You just need to copy or save the meme itself and then share it that way. So it is private. You do have to ask to join, but I don't decline anybody, to be honest with you. If you're declined or blocked, it's because you earned it.
So Rachel, what is a call to action for our sisterhood this week?
I mean, the call to action is pretty simple. Make sure that you always include humor in all aspects of your daily life. It's so important. Being, like I said, I'm a theater teacher, and in theater, we learn there's the drama side and the comedy side, with the two face masks. That's the symbol with theater. And it's correct. You've got to make sure you maintain that balance. Life is always going to have ups and downs, have its challenges. There's always going to be something. Everybody has a story, but the one thing that you can make sure that you're consistent with is to make sure that you keep that humor in your daily life. So my call to action is, if you're ever feeling down or inadequate or you're just not having a good day, don't forget to laugh. And if something like going to a group with memes helps you and makes you smile and chuckle a little bit, please do that, because I think we're all in this together. And it's so important to make sure that you keep that laughter in your everyday life. So please, sisters, make sure that you take time to laugh.
Love it.
Well, we love laughter. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining us today, Rachel. We loved laughing with you. And sisters, don't forget to laugh out loud. And thanks as always for answering the call this week. We look forward to talking to y'all next week. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. There was the Mother's Day meme that somebody created. It was like, thank you for being the best mothers ever. And in the middle, it was Judo's mom. And it's like, not you. That was so funny.
They got a lot of hate.
I was dying laughing when I saw it.
Supposedly, she redeems herself in season 3.
Oh, that's good.
Spoiler alert, but
You heard that in the hate comments, I'm sure.
I did. There was a lot of hate, guys. It's a joke. It's okay. You gotta remember, it's just a cartoon dog. I don't take advice from a cartoon dog.